Hello again, everyone. This is Bob Martin, the RC Sub Guy, and I have some new 3D file projects to share with you. These files are available for purchase. I am excited to share them with you. Let's take a look at what I've got. So as many of you know, the Nautilus from 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is my favorite boat of all time, but there is a namesake for that boat in a more modern equivalent, and that is the Nautilus 571 US nuclear submarine, the very first nuclear submarine named for Jules Verne's famous undersea boat. And I'm happy to say that with the help of Matt Thor, who generated the original rough CAD files, I am now able to offer to you a complete 3D package that you can purchase and download to build your very own RC Nautilus submarine. So let's take a look at a finished product. You'll see what you get once you get it all printed out. So what I've got here is actually the second prototype that I printed out. And I'm going to show you the first one in a little bit, but I wanted to concentrate on the production version for you here right now. Now this is printed out in 1/96 scale, making it a great, convenient size. What you've got here are basically hull sections that you're going to have in the file downloads, and you can print them out on virtually any 3D printer. The maximum section length is 170 millimeters, so most hobby grade 3D printers should be able to handle it without any modifications. If we take a look at some of the features of the files, all the limber holes, the anchor well, the recesses for the forward dive planes, and the drain holes in the bottom of the hull are all part of the 3D file, so that's not something that you need to add afterwards. One of the most unique things about this version of the boat is that I incorporated the same bayonet locking system as the Los Angeles class project that you can also download. So this hull is not split along the center line of the boat into top and bottom halves. It's actually vertically split at the front at this point and at the stern, so that you can slip your cylinder in but still retain access to all of the linkages that you need in the boat, both in the stern and in the front of the boat. So taking a look at how that works, it's very, very simple. Basically, you grab the bow, give it a twist, and pull it out. It's as easy as that. You've got full access to the interior. Allows you to slip your cylinder into place while still giving you full access to the bow, in this particular case, for working on your bow plane linkages. To put it back together, you just slip that in, give it a twist. It's completely locked together, and it is the same thing in the back. Slick as that. It's a tight fit, and as you can see, the seam is virtually invisible if you do your printing and assembling correctly. Talking about the design characteristics of this boat, because you've got a dual shaft system in the back with the dive planes directly aft of it, you're going to see some superior response to pitch inputs of the boat. And then you've also got a pair of rudders, top and bottom, that are quite large, should provide a very decent turning radius as well. So I would actually say that this 571 Nautilus would be a great choice for a small pond or a very large swimming pool, for example. What you're going to want to power this is a 2.5-inch diameter subdriver. The interior bulkheads have been notched, so the vent valve and everything can clear that all the way, slip right in without any problem. As part of the files, there are also periscopes and an internal mast mount that goes inside the sail, so you can model this with periscopes and masts. So I just wanted to show you the difference between this second iteration of the 3D files, the polished version, again with the removable bow and stern sections. And I'll show you the first prototype that I came up with. And this is what it looked like. And as you can see, it's virtually identical. It is slightly smaller. This was done in 1/100th scale just because of some of the section sizing that I wanted to do. But the primary difference between this, and I'll take the sail off, is the split of the hull. So as you can see, the entire upper hull was a single piece, and that gave you excellent access to the interior of the boat for installation of your watertight cylinder. Now, the reason that I went away from that is that 3D printing, while it is great for inexpensively replicating parts, does not typically allow the utilization of the more robust materials that you might find in a more production-oriented version of a hull that would be made out of, say, like fiberglass. So some of the problems that you run into primarily is how prone the PLA-based plastics that are most commonly used in 3D printers, how prone they are to warping. The PLA melts at a very low temperature, and if you bring your model submarine out into the sun, it's highly probable that you are going to see some degree of softening of the hull. And with you've got a very long, quasi-unsupported piece of hull, as you would here, you can see that the propensity for warping is pretty high. So that is why in the last couple of projects that I have put out, we've gone to those vertical splits. It's a bit of a departure from what I typically do, but it lends itself very, very well for this manner of producing a hull. It results in a very strong build that is far less prone to warping when you get that model heated up inadvertently. So the model in and of itself would be a little bit more robust, last you just a little bit longer. And since I've got this model out, why don't we show you what that stern looks like from the top there. These are the dive planes. You can see they're right behind those propeller shafts, so that as soon as you get throttle, you're gonna get pitch control on there. And then you've got these really big rudders, dual rudders, that should result in some pretty great turning performance from your 571 Nautilus. So a few stats about the printing methodology that I utilized for this. I printed this at 100% infill and 0.3 millimeter resolution. Now this was a test model and I wanted to get it knocked out fairly quickly. So you can see, you know, some degree of striation in here, but this is basically just had a little bit of sandpaper run over it. So there's not a lot of post-processing that's happened to this, and it still looks absolutely beautiful. If you want a smoother finish, by all means, you can step that resolution up to say 0.2, or if you're kind of crazy, even 0.1 millimeter resolution. All of the parts come with it, all of the dive planes. As I mentioned before, the masts, the periscope, the forward dive planes, the holes for all of the control rods are already part of those files, so drilling those out for installation should be quite easy. All in all, it should be a very quick, easy, and straightforward build for anyone interested in this legendary, historical submarine, the first nuclear submarine ever built, the 571 Nautilus. All right, this is Bob Martin, the RC sub guy. I hope you enjoyed this project, and by all means, take a chance, download those files. I think you're gonna like the end result. It's a beautiful little boat. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at any time. It's Bob at rc-sub.com. I would love to hear from you. Make sure you visit my website, nautilusdrydocks.com. Thanks again, everyone. This is Bob Martin, the RC sub guy, signing off.